What is in us that we can share? And to me, the clue sort of is what people think you're weird about. So like your weirdness is probably your superpower. So what's weird about you?
Brand identity is very important when it comes to personal branding. And this is why I invited on a very special guest today who is the master of visual brand identity, as you'll see in a second here. On today's episode, we have Matt Lesko, owner of Lesko.com, aka the king of free money, aka your gateway to financial treasure maps. Matt shows US-based entrepreneurs like us the hidden treasures Uncle Sam has waiting for us. Over the past many years, Matt's built one of the most visually recognizable personal brands through his famous question mark, and now he's kind of evolved that look, so we'll talk about that as well, attire. Today, we're doing a deep dive into Matt's personal brand blueprint to learn from what's worked, what hasn't, so that we can understand what we should do for our personal brand journey as well. So Matt, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I always want to talk to another Pennsylvanian.
Yeah, it's a good time for us right now. Well, I don't know. I think you're closer to Philadelphia than you are Pittsburgh with their Steelers, but it's a big time for Philly sports. That's for another
Maybe
conversation.
about as far away as Wilkes-Barre is from you. What about
Yeah.
2 hours? How long does it take to get to Wilkes-Barre from Philadelphia?
Yeah, roughly that probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll save the Philly sports talk for another episode. But no, I
I say the
appreciate
last place you can get a good corned beef sandwich is really Philadelphia. Once you live that down south, man, they don't know
roast
corned
pork.
beef.
Yep. Yeah, good cheesesteak or a good roast beef sandwich.
Right.
Yeah, now I'm getting hungry here. So one thing I want to note, and when we were starting to connect, when I saw your profile picture and I saw the big question marks on your suit, something clicked, and I've met this guy before, and I remember many years ago. We'll say not many, but maybe like 12, 13 years ago. I was at a direct response marketing event in New York
Oh,
City.
yeah.
It's like cocktail hour. We're all mingling. And naturally, you're wearing this, I believe, like a bright green question mark suit. So you're standing out in the crowd. And me and my business partner at the time just like had to get a picture with you. So we go over, we snap a picture. And I just always remembered you in that suit and that day. And I'll put a picture up when we go to editing, I'll put the picture up of us. And so, yeah, I went back and found it. And I'm like, wow, this is just a brilliant example of visual identity branding because I immediately remembered you. So
Right.
I want to dive into all of that today. For our listeners, this is like largely what I want to focus on is this idea of kind of like finding your shtick and what the value of that is, so you become memorable in your audience's minds. So enough talking by me. Let me pass the mic to you. So I want to.
Look, you reminded me what one of the places that's really helped a lot or got me in trouble was at one of these conventions, marketing convention, because I'd go there and I'd just go to the booths, to sell my stuff and find partners and stuff like that. And the person running that convention said, "You're not allowed in here. You have to buy a booth because of the suit." So
Why is that? Is that because it's like marketing or whatever?
yeah, exactly. And that's why I didn't need a booth, man.
Yeah, you were the booth.
I just walk in.
A walking billboard, as they say.
Right. Yeah. And the guy was smart.
Yeah.
Knew what
Yeah, no free advertising in here, huh?
Right.
Everyone needs their cut. Well, let's start there. So, like, take us through some origin story here. Before the suit, it sounds like we're talking about like a superhero here, right? Before the suit, how did you get into the financial space? And were you in the financial space when that kind of visual identity came? And then kind of walk us through, how you started and what was the inspiration behind the suit to kind of create that brand identity for people.
Well, it's all about feeding yourself. I mean, this is as a young person in this country, you have to learn how to feed yourself. I got on the military and got an MBA, and I wasn't a good student. All MBA was easy, to tell you the truth. It was undergraduate that I flunked out of all the time. And I was in computers back in the 70s, and I started a software company that failed, and another company that failed. It was just having failures all the time. And God, and then before the suits, what I really started doing was, okay, I'm failing. I'm doing what everybody else says, and I'm still failing. I mean, I'm having a fucking terrible time doing it. I was miserable because nothing was working, trying to do what they taught me, and I was failing. And I thought, oh, this is a crazy way to live. Now, I'm going to do something I'm really not happy with and miserable, that maybe in 20 or 30 years I'll be happy. And I said, wow, and that's not working out too well for me. So I figured, I got to switch this around. And I said, God, you got to be happy now. And that's the key. And then I said, but be happy now. And then thinking through, why aren't I not happy now? And I think it came to me in a way, and probably not having a lot of time in between, I see clearer. But I think it was something like, boy, I'm not succeeding at people telling me that I'll succeed at. So I said, I'm going to listen to myself more, And now I've come to a phrase is that your heart is smarter than your brain, because we're also smart. We're going to, get the checklist and the spreadsheet and the expert advice and shit like that. And everything, and so I was doing that like I was taught and wasn't happy. So, and because it didn't feel good. It's sort of like if you're an athlete in one subject, you have to, we all have certain talents and skills and everything, and what we're best at, but we're trying to copy other people's talent and skills. So I think that what we have to do is dig into ourselves to see what the hell is our best talent and skills. And because that's the best we have, and that's the best to share with other people. People will give us more money if we're good at it, not if we're mediocre. And so you're not going to be good, if you're born to be a golfer or something like that, and not to be a baseball player instead. And so, how do you find out what is that? And none of us know. I don't think a lot of people know that if they have a normal art form, we got singers know they have to sing, dancers know they have to dance. But as hucksters, what are we doing? What are we doing? Well, what is in us that we can share? And to me, the clue sort of is what people think you're weird about. So, like, your weirdness is probably your superpower. So, what's weird about you? And then especially now, I see like mentors and coaches and everything talking about your authenticity, and that's really back to your weirdness. You being who you are, you could give most, you could love harder, and as I get older too, I think life is more about loving, because that's something, at least as guys growing up in Pennsylvania, I never even said love until I got married or something like that. And now it's very important to me. But that's an old fart talking. And so how do you find out what's weird about you? Because that's the best you have. That's what attracts people, not you trying to be like somebody else. Then you're a phony. And so the more you could bring out from inside, and you don't know what works. I mean, that's the other thing. You don't know what works. And I found if I was taking other people's ideas about what works and didn't work, I would stop. Oh, that guy's an asshole, and I shouldn't have done that. But everything is difficult. Everything you do. There's no, I mean, especially you go on a new venture or want to do something new. That's like learning to walk. If you have kids yet or not, I have 2 kids and watch them walk, and they crawl over to the coffee table, and they pick their butt up and stand on their little shaky legs and take a step, and they fall down. And they got to do that. So we, as starting a venture or something like that, have to learn to walk. And you're only going to do that if you fall on your ass 100 times. But people, your loved ones, I think, are your worst enemy, because they don't want to see you fail. Don't do that, you're going to fail. And the only response to that is just, yes, I know. And you're going to fail at anything you do. So if it doesn't come from your heart, you're going to stop. It's sort of like a sort of relationship. Oh, he makes a lot of money, okay. And you'll hang in there, But if it's not from the heart, then you're going to get out of there as soon as possible, as soon as the first bad day. And most days are bad, particularly in the beginning of doing anything. So you have 1,000 excuses to stop.
Mhm. So what was the kind of catalyst for you where I know it sounds like you were trying your hand at 100 different things that
Right,
other people were telling you,
right,
and then you were like, you know what, I think I need to come from the heart here and try the
right,
things that are more authentic and
right,
natural and weird for me.
right.
What was that catalyst that made you go, okay, this is the direction I need to go now?
Yeah, well, the failure and everything else. Yeah, it was sort of you're out in the street again. Nothing's working, and necessity, and that's why it's great to have that. It's great to fail because that's life telling you, hey, you dumb shit, you're going the wrong way. So failure, you should be thankful for the failures, because otherwise you'll stay there and be mediocre. So appreciate the failures. That's the life telling you,
Yeah,
this ain't for you.
right. And where did the idea of then this question mark concept
Yeah,
come from, and then what made you go kind of all in on it? Because some
yeah,
people might dip their toe in it or something like
right.
that. This is kind of my thing, but you went all in on it
Yeah,
and made it
definitely.
like
Well,
your whole
after
attire.
the first, trying to get my first success was always from then is always trying to dig deep inside me. It felt like I'm an onion or something. I keep taking stuff out, another peel and crack. What's down there? And just trying to constantly do that. And the suits only came about 20 years ago. I've been doing this for 50 years. Uh, and it just I've always been my bit work has always been trying to get people information to make decisions. And in the beginning, I go, well, but there's so much information now in our society. You can get information on anything. You get 1,000 answers to any question you want. Yeah, but it's asking the right question. That's what I thought life was about. Is you have to ask the right questions, not just get the right answer. You got to be answering the right question. That's the important thing of success: is asking yourself or anybody else or anything you want to do the right question about it. So, so I had question marks around me all the time in my work, and then just one day, oh no, actually, watching TV in the '50s in Pennsylvania, I remember watching race car drivers, and we're watching a race on Saturday or something like that on the television. And Andy Granatelli, he's an old time race car guy, Formula One kind of stuff, and he was out selling STP at the racehorses at the racetracks, and he had a suit on with STP all over it. I was a clothes horse all the time, but fancy stuff, Armani shit and everything. And I thought, boy, that is cool. He has a whole outfit he could wear just with his logo over it. And that's me in the '50s. I don't think we even had the term logo yet or anything. But that's just thing. Then I was involved in something on Capitol Hill, caucus. A caucus is like a committee on the Hill that is not an official committee, just a bunch of congressmen and senators get together. And for some reason, they had me on the board of that thing. And we would get futurists to talk to Congress, like people like Jacques Cousteau and things like this, about the future of things. So Congress didn't just worry about the next election, like a little longer term, about making decisions. And I remember Jacques Cousteau coming in and he had a little like Nehru jacket outfit on. Oh, that's sort of cool. You got a little outfit that's a little different. And that was cool. So all of a sudden, then it just question mark suit. And I remember it was, couldn't find one anywhere. So I got a cheap suit and I found a person in the mall that did monograms, on your baseball hat or something like that. Here's a cheap suit, put question marks all over it. And I did that. And boy, that was a day that changed my life. I mean, I was so afraid. I mean, growing up in the '50s in Pennsylvania, it's a life as a guy, is pretty macho. And my biggest fear was, oh God, I'm gonna have to defend my honor every step or whatever. I could imagine all the bullies in the world coming after me easily. I was the target, but I still wanted to do it, and I'm like a guy that good at doing that kind of stuff. Uh, and I remember walking through the airport because I used to travel city to city a lot at that time. And every step was like stepping on a crate of eggs. It was just so, just worried about everything I said. But I wanted to do this. Uh, None of that ever happened. None of the bad stuff ever happened.
Yeah, I'm going to
Uh,
say so obviously that takes a lot of courage to put on that suit because you are purposefully
yeah,
trying to be,
a
we'll say, a
target.
spectacle, right? Like you want to be looked at.
Right.
Um, right. So let's talk. So were you a person that was okay with that attention, or was this like,
Well,
this is just something I
obviously.
have to do?
Yeah. I mean, I was afraid of consequences about it, yes. Uh, but I wanted people to know. See, to me, this is me inside, you know, and I wanted to let people know who I really am. And this is me, and I think what was behind it, and wasn't smart enough to realize at the time, uh, was that it became a wonderful filter. People think I'm an asshole, that's fine, because then I'm saving them and me a lot of time. and you think this is great, I'm going to love you.
Tribe.
And it just attracts you. It's a big world out there. And that's the neatest thing. Then particularly on when I was doing a lot of TV to get on talk shows, that's what the marketing was. I mean, I used when I was publishing books myself after New York, then I had to market, and I couldn't publish 100,000 books, put them in bookstores like New York does, and then go on and do TV shows, and maybe I sell, maybe I couldn't. I couldn't do that, couldn't afford that, so I had to get the money first. And so um, I was a regular on a lot of these talk shows that would like me, and they let me give my 800 number. So I would get the money before they had the books. And I made all the money too, instead of just 10%. When you do it in New York. And also what pissed me off, because the bookstores were using my audience. My audience not at the, weren't intellectuals hanging around bookstores. They were hustlers or just trying to get by in life. And so I thought, wow, I go into the bookstore, giving them, they get half the money on the book, and they're getting my customers. They're not somebody hanging around that I'm getting their customers, like in the mall. You have a store in the mall. And so they're getting mine. So, God, I got to get out there. I'm making nothing on this stuff. And I was a New York Times bestseller. I thought, boy, I have a penthouse on Park Avenue or something. If that happened to a kid from Wilkes-Barre. And it was nothing. So I had to cut these people out. But the media was important. It's all marketing. You're not in business if you don't have a customer. Forget about everything else you ever heard about getting a but. Oh, I need an LLC. Oh no, I got to get to this and the perfect hotel. Doesn't matter. None of that shit. Nobody buys anything from me. Hey, you an LLC or something? Nobody gives a shit. As long as you pay taxes, that's what you worry about. Anything else any bullshit expert tells you about, because they're making money.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Blueprint fam, if you're enjoying today's episode and finding my guest insights valuable, then you'll definitely want to subscribe to the Personal Brand Blueprint podcast as we drop weekly guest interview episodes just like this one. And on that note, you obviously also see firsthand how powerful being an effective guest, like the one you're watching on this episode right now, can be at attracting qualified, interested leads directly into your sales funnel. But I know what you're thinking. You want to get into guest podcasting, but starting feels confusing and overwhelming. What equipment do you need? And how do you look and sound great? And how do you turn listeners into leads? I know this because so many of my guests had these exact problems in the past. And that is why I created the Podcast Guest Mastery Blueprint. It's a simple but powerful breakdown on everything you need to look, sound, and convert great as a podcast guest. Everything from how to set up your recording area to what equipment you need to look and sound great on camera, and what to say on podcasts to stand out, be memorable, and earn the audience's trust. And then that one key strategy to turn listeners into leads. I'm telling you, this isn't just another checklist. This is a step-by-step blueprint to make sure you look, sound, and present your best on podcasts so you can convert that attention into leads and ultimately new business. I honestly was thinking about selling this for like $97, but I'd rather give access to this guide to my Personal Brand Blueprint podcast audience for free. So if you are ready to become a sought after podcast guest and use it to generate leads and build your personal brand, then grab your copy of Podcast Guest Mastery Blueprint at davepoly.com/podcast blueprint. You can find the link to that in the show notes below. Again, that's davepoly.com/podcast blueprint, and start turning podcast interviews into business. Again, it's completely free for being a loyal listener, so definitely check it out. Cool? All right, let's get back to the conversation. So you put on the suit, you're now in public. What's like the initial reaction? What kind of, I guess, what was your goal there with the suit in public? Were you hoping people would come up to you, create a
Well,
buzz?
um, now I mean, outgoing. I like people, but I'm not until recently, God, I had no friends kind of thing. I just loved working and so it's not like I had a crew or something. No, I like working alone more. And, but no, just I want the people to know who I was. Yeah. Or whatever. We just hide who we really are. And we're not, and how are you going to grow in life? I think you have to grow. And that's a thing. And we're all organic or like a plant, I guess. They try to grow, right? Trees, everything. And so we're organic too. And so we have to grow. And you can only grow if you're in the right pot. You have to have the right environment. You put a tree or a flower in the wrong pot, not going to grow, right? So how do you get yourself into the right pot so you could grow as hard as you can? I mean, that's until you die. I'm 81 years old, man. I'm not finished. I got lots to do, and that's because I work on creating an environment where I can grow. There's so much stuff that will tell you how to live life and whatever, but that's why you have to listen inside, because if you don't do that, you're not going to get over the hurdles and through the bad stuff, and you're not going to keep growing, because that's the real satisfaction in life is you. See, if you're growing, that means you're giving more. And the key thing in life is giving to other people. I mean, that's what business is about, but we keep score by dollars, but you're really trying to give something and the best you have to other people, whether it's capitalism or just in communityism, to each other. So you got to find the best in you that you could give, so that it becomes easier. If you love playing badminton, and you'll do it 24/7. I mean, I used to be a golfer. Yeah, I'd golf, rain, snow, sleet, or hail, and then go to work. Oh, fuck, I want the perfect chair. I want the perfect this. Why live a life like that? When like now, I used to, when I worked for somebody, I wanted to go first class and all that kind of, man, when I do my own shit, man, I'll get there on a camel. I just want to get there and do this stuff. And that's
So
the
you
key.
mentioned the question mark had kind of a deep meaning for you, because there's that expression, like, ask the right questions
Right.
to get the right answers, essentially. And so you were like living that inside and out, literally.
Right.
For people listening, I guess, like, what would you say for those people who want to find kind of their version of the question
Right.
mark to live through? What were the important points that you were
Yeah.
thinking? Like, how'd that help you feel more
Right.
genuine through your personal brand?
Well, I mean, Harvard Business School called me up to speak about branding at Harvard Business School. And I'm in this big, canyon of rows of students up there for me to talk about canyon spotlight. I mean, about branding, and all I could think is, I'm just having fun. I mean, it is that. They thought I had this big consulting firm and this brain trust that decided that all this kind of. No, it is. It's just your heart, having fun, and then that becomes more authentic than anything you're trying to manufacture, to fool people you're having fun.
No.
And people know. Try it on a kid. A 6-year-old would know better if you're faking it or not.
Yeah.
And dogs know.
I think that's such a critical point, because I mean, if you look at anyone who's got kind of their in like pop culture, for example, we'll take the queen of the headline, Taylor Swift or whatever, right? So she's got like her like friendship bracelets concept, right? And it's something she didn't say what you will. I don't know if she manufactured the idea, but it feels very her and her
Yeah.
audience. And it's
Right.
like she's about togetherness, and it probably happened organically. And now
Right.
it's like you think friendship bracelets, you think Taylor Swift, right? And it's not, it doesn't feel like a gimmick or whatever. It just feels like her thing. So the concept of just like, just go have fun and let kind of the
Yeah.
natural thing
'Cause you,
happen
yeah.
for you and then just live through that instead of trying to
Yeah.
force this like facade and think. You mentioned, Harvard Business School thought you were working with like some branding company, and they were pushing the question marks on you. Like if you were being pushed on a thing that you didn't naturally feel was your idea,
Yeah.
it's going to
It
feel
wouldn't.
like, fake
Absolutely.
and phony.
Right. No, and that's the way to get the best thing out of you in life. I mean, we're here a short time. We think it's forever sometimes, but it is, and so short. And that's why, boy, you have to grab opportunities that come out of nowhere, and it's keeping an open heart, an open mind, and grabbing things as they come in, because you can't program it. You can program some part. I mean, I do. I have things I want to do everything, but the thing is, they still be open when the things come by accident you don't know, so you could grab them and do something. That's the problem with lists and schedules and things like that. You lose that. Somebody important happens in your life. Oh no, I got a 710. I'm sorry. You're the most beautiful person in the world, but I have a 710.
Right.
And you can't take advantage of it. But I think it's all about giving. Um, but you have to feed yourself first, so you have to do a lot of shit to get through that. But always, whether it's full time or part time, it is look inside you. What are your dreams? What do you think? And other people take it for a grain of salt because they don't know. I mean, but we love giving advice. That's the problem. The experts, man, they're they're the sharks in the world because they have to get you to believe they know the secret when they don't even know what to do with their own fucking life. How could they tell us to do it with our life? Yeah.
Mhm.
But if they don't make you believe that, man, they can't cut you. Oh yeah, this may or may work. I don't know, but yeah, let's try it and see,
Right.
and give me 10 grand. Yeah.
Right. Right. So over time, let's get into actually the what you are specifically focused on helping people achieve,
Uh-huh.
and kind of where those two things overlap. So the question mark, ask your questions, find good results, good answers. Specifically, the niche that you're in is, I guess, the government grants and helping. Well, let's maybe focus on like businesses, solopreneurs with government grants that could help them grow their business, right? So, kind of explain a little bit about what people don't know about that and what you help them solve.
Right. Well, I mean, I learned that the millionaires taught me this. I was in town as a consultant after my businesses failed. You become a consultant to rich people because they don't want to do shit.
Right.
So you charge them for what they're too lazy to do. And they'd want to buy and sell companies and stuff like that. I was in D.C. I didn't know anything about D.C. from Wilkes-Barre. I mean, I don't know about Philadelphia, but when I grew up in Wilkes-Barre, man, the government was like the post office and the DMV. That's about all I knew. And I was here, I was doing research, like in libraries and stuff. And then it was, like a Procter & Gamble was a client of mine, wanted to start a chain of pasta stores. And I'd be at the Department of Agriculture library and trying to get information on the markets and the competitors and all that kind of stuff. And I talked to the librarians, and they said, "Oh no, you want to talk to Charlie Porter? He's over on the fourth floor over there." Okay, go over and knock on Charlie's door. Well, Charlie Porter turned out to be, a bureaucrat, maybe GS 15, 16, 17, making now be 100 grand or more a year, and has a bachelor's in economics and a master's in agricultural economics, and studying, pasta for the last umpteen years of his life, and and you find that guy, and he was just amazing. I'd be in there for 3 or 4 hours. I couldn't get out of the goddamn place because he's been studying this so long. Nobody's ever asked him about it. Government forgot he's there. His wife's sick of hearing about it. And he'd give me all these studies and data and everything, and I'd take his name off, put my name on it, and sell it to my clients for thousands and thousands of dollars. I said, shit, a schmuck like me from Wilkes-Barre can do this? Why isn't everybody doing this? This is just astounded me. And I said, and I got sick of helping millionaires. It was my first successful business, really, reselling stuff I got for free. Yeah, but to me, the people in Wilkes-Barre, how do I teach them about this? Because it's not only for millionaires; it's for everybody. Like, okay, you want to start a business now? Here's where you go. And are you online? I could do it while we're talking or not. Can you go online now?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, put another tab. You want to start a business. Okay, go to sba.gov. But you don't want to go to SBA. This is a database that I have that you want to use. So it's sba.gov.
Let me try doing a little screen share and see if that can work.
Oh.
Hello, window. There you go.
A screen share? Is that like Sunny and share?
There we go.
There it is. Oh, okay. Okay, go down a little bit. I'm sorry. SBA.gov/local assistance assistance. Local assistance. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Oh, great. Oh, fast typo.
Oh,
no, you missed it. Yeah.
Did I spell it wrong?
Yeah. Assistance.
Yeah.
ANC.
That makes more sense.
Okay, down a little more, down a little more. Okay, put in your zip code. See,
I'll blur this out for everyone.
the zip code's pretty big.
Yeah.
Okay, go down a little more, down a little more. Let's see what you have here. Okay, you have 9 organizations that if you're a small business, you can talk to them for free. These are nonprofit organizations and government offices that help you start any business, any nonprofit, any invention, any real estate investment, any work-at-home scheme or whatever, that help you for free. I mean, they help you find money, help you find legal help you find anything you need for that. Now, of course, they're all not great or whatever, and there are various levels of expertise. So that's why you call all 6. Make an appointment to find out what's there, because you'll never find it, yourself. You can't go to Google. Google, what people don't realize, where the hell is that? Here's what our economy looks like. This is back in 2010. Well, that we got the right one. But our economy has 2 sections. We have the capitalist section, and we have the section that is community. That means they're giving you money and help as a community. Did you take that? Well, here's an old version of it.
Yeah. We can find the new one and put it up in editing.
Okay. And this shows you community is, I mean, the capitalism is actually now 60%. So this is the community. The community is government and nonprofit organization. So that now represents 40%. At the time, that was almost 40%, 38. So now this is turned into 40%, and capitalism turned into 60. This is 64%. Okay, so you have 40%, and this part is free. Everything that they give is free. It's sort of like, to me, that's the community, helping each other in the community. That's what community does. Your neighbor has a house on fire. You don't go over there and say, yeah, I'll help you. You got a good credit card? No. But that's what capitalism is. They don't help you unless you have a credit card. Right? So there's a lot of help out there, but you're cut out if you don't have money. And see, what I'm trying to teach people, you don't need money if you learn this. Okay, all that. There's another free source for any kind of business, an entrepreneur, besides that SBA. And that's not the SBA. You're probably never going to get money from the SBA again. But it's people that the SBA give money to help you for free to get money elsewhere or to get anything you need. I mean, that's legal help. I mean, such as a small business in financial trouble, got to run out of debt, and all this kind of, all for free. But they don't advertise, so you never see them in Google. So that's one thing. And again, it's not easy. You don't make everybody, okay, give me a place to fill out a form, and wait for the money. No, that doesn't happen that way because you don't know where it is. I mean, Pennsylvania will have 10,000 different grants for entrepreneurs, and nobody knows them all or where the hell they are. So you have to find the people that know this stuff. It's sort of like asking a plumber about how to fix a toilet versus asking your brother-in-law or something. He maybe fixed one, but
What's
somebody.
usually the mistake people make when they try to do it themselves?
Yeah. Number one is but believing that they need a grant writer. You don't. And that's the problem too, is that people hire grant writers first and then go look for it. No. First of all, most grants, even for businesses starting up, will be just 2-3 pages, fill in the blanks. That's it. But even the bigger sin is getting a grant writer, to me, is like buying a prom dress before you're invited to a prom. You haven't seen the goddamn application yet, and you got a grant writer. So at least do that. There's one other service that's available, eda.gov. That's another place where people should start to do anything. And you go there and put in your state. And Pennsylvania is very good for entrepreneurs. Lots of money compared to other states. You're very fortunate there. But you want to get the help. You don't want to just money because you need somebody to sit down with you. Okay, this is a good thing, but maybe this is bad what you're thinking about because you could get a government contract. And you have a service you're saying you could get $1 million. My sister had a framing service. She got $1 million of contracts from the government. Now that's a contract from the government is better than a grant because you keep getting them. A grant you get one time, that's it. You learn that system, a contract. And there's a special office. It's called Apex Accelerators.us. You go there, and again, they have in every state they have organizations that help small businesses get government contracts. That's all they do. You go to Google and you'll find people that want to charge you $10,000 for doing something like that. It's crazy. Now, here's one other important website for you, and particularly starting something to pay you for your living expenses. And this is can you bring it up here, website again? You want to go to findhelp.org, HELP.org. There it is, okay. Again, the zip code. Oh, it's already there. Okay. 3,945 nonprofit organizations and government offices that provide free money and help in your zip code.
Wow.
I know, that's fucking incredible to me. Okay, go up in the search bar again, put rent. So you're an entrepreneur, oh shit, I can't make rent. Have a bad day at the office or whatever. No, just rent and put search. So, okay, there's 95 nonprofit organizations that help you with rent. 95. And this is free. They're never going to charge you a penny, a nickel, anything. I mean, it's just phenomenal to me.
And then what typically, I assume then you have to go through and just look at the qualifications. These
Yeah,
people.
well, what you do, you call. You don't know. You don't even know how to read the qualifications. You don't know what the fuck they really mean anyway. The best way to deal with this is get on the phone, call them up. I'm in trouble. You don't have to know what to say. You just have to know to say, I need help. Because all these programs, that's all they're there for, is to help people. So don't worry about qualifications. Talk to people. Yeah. It's sort of, like reading a medical journal about your, it's not going to help.
Sure.
You got to talk to somebody who will translate that stuff to what it means to you. And that's by being a person. Because if you get tied into the internet, then you get the robots and you want to get out of there. But I'll tell you one thing, AI is better for finding grants than Google is. Because you could put in AI, I want grants in Pennsylvania for business. And if you say nonprofit organizations and government offices, it'll only give you, it won't be selling you, vacations to Hawaii or anything other, just kind of bullshit. You'll see when you go to Google. So that's been a good help to me, AI. But you have to use those two words because they're the people in our society that give out the official grants, nonprofit organizations and government offices. So that's .org or .gov. So you don't want to talk to anybody else because they have a bias of wanting to sell you something.
Now I know, grown kind of a community around this
Right.
concept. Walk me through, let's kind of talk through as you are trying to build this offer, service, or
Mhm.
help for people. What were some of the ways that you've tried to grow it from
Yeah.
I know from the personal branding
Mhm.
perspective, you've really branded yourself. What were some other ways that you've really tried to get this message out there and let people know that you can provide help with it?
Yeah. And that's the community. And we got about 12,000 now. But yeah, it's a constant battle. I don't know, because I want to always keep growing. I don't know what. But yeah, you got to get customers. Before, and even how I grew it before, instead of the biggest sin is paying for marketing. I think anybody who's starting anything, if you're paying for marketing, that's wasted money. Because you don't know what really people will buy from you or how they want to hear it or whatever. I mean, you're just going to waste. And when I got to anybody wants me to buy marketing, what I do is, okay, yeah, I'll buy it. And the one I'll pay is give you, you say I'm going to make $1 million, fine. I'll give you $500,000. You give me $1 million of sales and I'll give you half of it. And that's what I did on TV. You saw me on TV a lot. I never bought on those commercials because there were times on every TV station nobody bought the commercial. So they had a Lesko ad there they could put on and make something. Maybe they won't make all the money they want, but they'd get half of what I got from their commercial. And you could do that now on the internet too. You have to scratch for it, find out, but there's people want to have ads and they have nobody's buying their ads. I mean, if I came to you on your podcast, you want an ad, I'll give you an ad and I'll give you half the money. We'll figure out a way to know it came from you. You get half the money. So that's what I did with all. I made a ton of dough on it. CNN doing that because they would run it. They have 24/7 stuff. Oh, I need that shit. And I think because Larry King always had me on. Most of those CNN watchers, saw me. But he would give me my 800 number. I mean, Larry King was worth a couple $100,000 every time. I just was a guest, so that's why. And the way guests use me, because I noticed right away, is that they didn't care what I said; it was how I said it. They don't check shit.
What do you mean
It
by
was like,
that?
well, in other words, I used to fear that, okay, Lesko from Wilkes-Barre is going to be on the Today Show. And I figured, okay, Lesko, you see on page 75, I'm insecure like everybody. This is a lie. Nobody has the time to do anything. And all they want is entertainment. It's all about entertainment. And I got that from being a computer science professor after I got my degree. And they were grown-ups that were coming back to try to get a degree, and usually after work. And I had to keep them awake first before I could teach them anything. So that's how I saw television first. You had to keep them awake. Or even if I got on the Today Show, it would be, next is Matthew Lesko talking about government information. I'm going to go brush my teeth. Yeah, they have something else to do. So my theory, I got to get you out of the bathroom. So I imagined all these people all over the country go, what's that idiot talking about? And that's what it is. Yeah, it's entertainment, and the media needs that. So you give something the media needs, and you get free publicity. And that's so. And before you know, eventually you will find out what the buttons to push for you to do a real ad. That would work. But until then, no, you do it with free stuff because otherwise you're just going to keep losing money.
So a mix of kind of PR, media blitz with like a revenue share
Right.
as kind of the pay
Right.
for that
Right.
opportunity. Sounds
Absolutely.
like. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can,
Now,
for our
see,
audience, I mean, that's rev shares.
right.
Typically we see that in like referral sources, whether it's
Right.
like a partner or some sort of sales channel that's like, hey, you feed me a lead. If that becomes a client, I'll give you a
Right.
cut and whatnot,
Exactly.
right? But it's interesting to do that from like a media perspective where, maybe if you're getting like an article published about you or a podcast interview or
Exactly.
a TV spot and whatever I sell,
Yeah.
use code CNN
Right.
or whatever, right? And
Exactly.
at checkout. so you can kind of
Right.
tell where it came from, and then they get a cutback. So yeah, if
Yeah,
you're especially if you have a small budget or no budget
exactly.
at all,
But
the
more
rev sharing
importantly,
sounds
that
like it
you
works.
have to learn what will, I mean, learn thinking what people want is one thing, but thinking what people will pay for. That was my biggest problem for many years. I mean, people stopped buying reference books. Fucking internet. Why would you buy a directory? People stopped going to a bookstore. But I still thought that stuff was good, But how will people buy it? How will people spend money to get it? And that's what I stumbled in by accident after racking my brain for many years. The community aspect. And that's how people like learning now, it seems, as a community. I mean, I've helped more people now. I sold about some 40 million books or so. And I've helped more people in the last couple of years than all those books because people got all those books. Oh fuck, I gotta read. we buy diet books and we're still the fattest nation in the world. Yeah, so that doesn't go very far. But community, when you have people like you, and that's why, like now, we have 4 hours at least of members that are live on Zoom calls. You can ask them how they got the money, how they got money, not some clown like me. Can't relate to. For people like you, you can relate to. Hey, yeah,
Yeah.
this is what I did, and this is how I did it. And that seems to be very. I mean, the feedback now is better than I ever had. I'm having the best time in my life. And my saying now is, if I knew 71 would be this great, I would have got here earlier. And why
Love
did I
that.
wait so long?
Love that.
It is. People show more love. I could talk more love. I couldn't say love before. Yeah. And now it's, this is, and even when me, it's all about, I think, opening your heart. You open your heart, life becomes easier somehow. You're not going to get richer, maybe, or maybe not, but there's something more comforting when you're opening your heart, and I'm not even sure what the fuck that means.
Well, that's I see for the attire you have today. Is that
Right,
kind of the
exactly.
new
I'm into
or
hearts now,
evolution
right?
of the branding there?
Also, because hearts, you can have the right answers, but man, if your heart's not in it, you're going to make it happen. Yeah, because everything is a pain in the ass. Life's a pain in the ass. You're gonna get fucking beat up no matter who you are. Take your punches. You're not special.
Right. Yeah, there's a great quote that says, you know, marriage is hard, divorce is hard, choose your hard. Being skinny is hard, being fat is hard, choose your
Right.
hard. There's
Exactly.
everything's hard. You decide which one you
Absolutely.
want.
That's why if it's from the heart, then you want to be there. Yeah.
Yeah,
How else can
love
you
it.
tell? And it's hard to listen to your heart because we got all this bullshit in our brain. And we're scared. We don't know what we're doing. We're all guessing. So that's why we grab all these other things that probably won't help much. Maybe get something out of it. I can't tell. You can't tell. Nobody can. But maybe it'll help you get there. But the most important thing is failure, because you won't find it if you're not failing.
Mm,
Because nobody has the secret for you. You have to find out the secret for you. We're just all two different animals. And you have to build that. It's like I feel you're painting or Picasso. I mean, he probably has a vague, I know I don't, but a vague idea, and he starts putting paint on the canvas, and that gives you some other idea. You never know. Like my business is successful now by accident. It's stumbling into success is really what it is about. Originally thought it would be, none of that worked out at all.
that's
But it
funny.
brought you to open your mind to other things.
Love it.
See.
Well, let's, if anyone is interested in checking more out about you or the community that you have that can help them get those government grants, where should they go to learn more about you?
My probation officer, probably, because he knows.
He knows where you are at all times.
Right. Leskohelp.com.
Perfect.
Yeah. And that's,
Matt,
yeah, it's great. Thanks for being
Matt,
there.
thank you so much for being on today's episode. This was awesome. Again, this is kind of a nice, a special episode for me, being that we connected years ago, and to be able to have you on today was awesome,
Oh, nice.
and
I
learn
knew
more
you
about.
went.
Yeah, yeah. To learn the full story
Great.
is a full story for me, full circle story. So thank you so much for being on.
You bet.
To learn more about how to launch and grow your personal brand, check out DavePolykoff.com. Subscribe to the Personal Brand Blueprint podcast, and link with me on LinkedIn, Dave Polykoff, as well as Matt. And check out all the links in the show notes below about how you can connect with him and learn more about his services. Thanks, and see you on the next episode of Personal Brand Blueprint. Today, we learned about my guest's origin story, unique methods, and credibility. If you want to see me break down how today's guest can use those tools within the Personal Brand Blueprint strategy to attract, convince, and convert new qualified leads so you can do the same for your business, then check out this episode here. Or if you want to continue to hear more incredible personal branding origin stories and learn more valuable personal branding skills from my awesome guests, then check out the full playlist of interviews here.